June 4th, 1945. Palalilu Island. An Allied plane crashes down onto the airfield. German trucks transporting the undead and Element 115 are struck, releasing a horror unimaginable. There are 4 survivors, beaten, bruised, and broken from the crash, awaken. Nacht der Untoten, the very first zombies map, translating literally from German to mean Night of the Undead. The name being an interesting nod to the George Romero movie Night of the Living Dead. Treyarch would go on to hire a celebrity cast for Black Ops 1 map, Call of the Dead, in which George is the main boss. Along with Danny Trejo, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Robert Englund, and Michael Rooker. Nacht der Untoten, initially hidden by Treyarch until completing the campaign, started what we know today as Nazi Zombies. In its early development, it was given the codename Nazi_Zombie_Prototype. This is attributed to the fact that it was fully designed by a small team of developers in their free time, with the idea being a tower defense-like mode in which you eventually get overrun. Initially, it was supposed to be played from the German POV from the beaches of Normandy. Jesse Schneider states, "We had an idea for the end of called World at War, where you'd be placed in a bunker in which you couldn't leave. To your right would be a German officer screaming at you to get onto some machine guns, and to your left would be those machine guns. They would be mounted on a window overlooking the beach. It was then that the player was supposed to realise that you were on the beaches of Normandy from the Germans' perspective. However, this was never implemented due to a lot of resistance in allowing the player to play as a German. However, the idea of being held up in a bunker type of place and surviving against an endless charge of enemies did." Schneider goes on to add that from the campaign there was a mission in which soldiers looked like they were dazed. This looked like zombies, and it was there that the idea was born. On weekends, him and a colleague worked on the game in their free time whilst also working 60-hour weeks. The prototype eventually became polished enough to flesh out the player experience. It was hard, but it was hard on purpose. He quoted, "We wanted round 10 to be the tipping point, with 20 being the point at which if anyone makes a mistake, the game ends." Using assets stripped directly from the multiplayer map Airfield, along with character animations from the campaign, they had a basis and worked along with the help of many others to add features such as the mystery box, rebuilding barricades, and power-ups. The map itself consists of 3 rooms: spawn room, help room, and the second floor. Interestingly, on the help room, the word help is unfinished, which leads it to read a single word: hell. Interestingly, the help room contains the only real resource that you are provided with to survive: the mystery box, and within that, the alien pistol known as the ray gun. Upstairs, a cabinet containing a scoped car sniper rifle. This almost envisions the developer's idea of a tower defense. You're almost led to believe that you can really keep the zombies out, each round giving you just enough time to rebuild your windows, even using the explosive barrels to take out more zombies, and the more and more until you get overrun and it's too late. Nacht der Untoten came at a time when things were still being figured out in the zombie scene. Whispers of zombie dogs once you hit round 30, and a Hitler boss at round 100 flooded the game. This added an edge of mystery to the simple yet difficult map. These were later found out to be just rumours. However, they did eventually lean into this by adding hellhounds into Shinonu. There were 4 power-ups: a nuke, max ammo, double points, and insta-kill. Along with that, the zombies couldn't hit you through the barricades yet. This is the only map to include an on-screen timer, and picking up double points resulted in being able to pick up another double points, giving you quadruple points. There were no perks, no pack-a-punch, nothing. Now, I'm sure you've seen clips of people going prone and then the zombies just not hit you. This is because the melee in World at War is so buggy, and that the attack actually has to complete the full animation whilst remaining in the hittable zone. And because melee is so broken, when combined with the proning hitbox being weird, it allows you to escape from certain death situations in a lot of scenarios. Knifing a radio in the box room resulted in the song WTF, composed by Kevin Sherwood and Brian Toohey. This became the most unofficial song of the map. Now, I've covered all of this before in my Nacht der Untoten story video. However, I decided to revisit this as to make it a more rounded video covering some of the more in-depth topics about the map that I find interesting. To start off, I'm going to explain how the zombies work along with their health and rounds. So normal rounds end when all the zombies are killed and increase by 1. However, there are some unintended glitches on certain maps that allow you to skip, with the most notable being in Nacht der Untoten. If you go into the spawn room without having the Nova crawlers activated, as the round's changing, it skips a round, but I guess that's not really relevant to Nacht der Untoten.
That's a bad spot. Wait, is it just me or did the game just glitched out?
So, when the round changes, the zombie's health increases. From round 1 to 9, it goes up by 100. The zombie's health starts at 150 and goes up by 100 each round until 9. So at round 9, a zombie would have 950. However, starting at round 10, it becomes exponential, meaning that it multiplies. Specifically, it multiplies by 1.1 per round. So at round 10, it would be 950 from round 9 times by 1.1 to give 1045. This would mean that round 20 would be 2710, etc, etc. However, the game stores these health in a number, specifically an integer, which is capped at 32 bits. So once the health reaches the 32-bit cap of 2.14 billion, it can't increase any higher. This means that the game doesn't know what to do, and so it gives the zombies a negative health value. The community has dubbed these as insta-kill rounds, letting you kill them in one shot. This normally happens at about around 163, and can give you insta-kill rounds every 1 to 2 rounds. This is a spreadsheet made by Krups that shows the specific individual rounds. Okay, so now you understand the health. But when using weapons, how do we even make it to round 163 when zombies have billions of health? Even the ray gun takes 48 shots to kill a zombie on round 50, roughly. And that's where the flamethrower comes in. I'm sure many of you have seen that the flamethrower can kill zombies on any round. However, I'm not sure it's common knowledge on exactly how it works, and for that I'm going to play a clip from Mr. JZM. He explains it way better than I ever could.
Is able to kill a zombie on any round, meaning that the damage does scale, but it doesn't work quite the same as the ray gun or the other explosives do. The way it works is that when you shoot a zombie with the flamethrower, they will be ignited for only 12 seconds. On screen here, you can see that there is a timer which shows how long this zombie will be on fire for, and also a health counter showing the percentage of the zombie's health left. Exactly 2 seconds after they get ignited, they will take a guaranteed tick of damage, which takes away a percentage of their health. After that, they will take another tick of damage every 2 to 5 seconds until they're no longer on fire. Each tick of damage does a small percentage of the zombie's health until they eventually die. Remember that the zombies will only be on fire for 12 seconds at a time, and shooting them with the flamethrower while they're already on fire does not do any additional damage, nor does it extend the duration of how long they'll be on fire. After the 12 seconds are up, you have to ignite them again. On average, it will take between 2 to 4 ignitions to kill a single single zombie. So based on this information,
So he basically shows that the flamethrower does a percentage tick of damage every couple of seconds once it's been ignited, and that only zombies outside of a cone can be ignited. He goes on to show a new strategy found almost 20 years after the map was released that could be used to significantly lower the amount of time required to go through the rounds. On the map, there were effectively two main high round strategies that were used. The first is a modification of the relaxing ends spawn room pillar strategy. This, you walk around an infinity sign to hoard up the zombies and then shoot the flamethrower back and forth to tag zombies. The second, however, is made by Dupree. This involves only opening the help door and thus only having two rooms for the zombies to come through. However, this strategy was hard as hell, as it's super easy to get caught off in this room and have your game ended. The benefit of this, however, was that it was far faster. This was eventually the strategy used by Krups in 2023 December to hit his round 8,817 world record. I'm now going to show you the fundamentals in order to set up your strategy. You're going to want to spawn in and shoot all the barrels, including a specific grenade throw, as each of the barrels stores a value in every tick. So removing these allows you for the game to go on longer before it resets. Then you're going to want to buy the car, snipe until round 4, then buy the M4A1 and go on until about round 7 to 8. Then, buy the help door and spin the box till you get the ray gun and flamethrower. Then you're set up. Use the ray gun until about round 50 or until you run out of ammo. Then the flamethrower for the rest of the game, trading out your ray gun for 463 in order to buy the Thompson for faster insta-kill rounds. Now, finally, I'm going to talk about some weird things that are exclusive to Nacht. The Thompson on the wall is stated to cost 1500 points, but only actually costs 1200. This is a visual glitch. Cabinet upstairs holds a modified scoped version of the Car 98K, which allows it to one-shot headshot zombies up until round 23. This is versus the normal car, which stops headshotting and killing zombies at round 4. I managed to use this weapon to get to round 50, which remains my most popular video today. If you hold both the unscoped and scoped car, the game recognizes that you're using two guns with the same ammo. This means that it lets you hold double the stockpile, meaning you can hold 100 shots with it rather than just 50. If you pick up two separate double point drops, you actually get 4 times points for the remainder of the time. In World at War, the Springfield is actually bugged, and it has an iron sight that is misaligned, leading to people stating that it takes 2 shots to kill on insta-kill, but in reality it's just bugged. When picking up an insta-kill or double point, it's the only map on World at War that has a countdown that tells you exactly when it ends. And finally, you are able to buy grenades with less than required points, which will let you end up with a negative balance. And to finally end the video, I'm going to play a sped up version of the last round of my zombie world record submission for 20th place.